What is happening, everybody? Filling in for my friend JC, who's with the giraffes today, is my better friend, Steve Straza. What's happening, Steve Straza?
JC loves a lot of things. Um,
Food, wine,
yeah,
sports.
the Heat, the Dolphins, the Hurricanes, like he has a lot of interests and passions, but right up there on that list is the zoo. I mean, this man gets super excited for the zoo, and I couldn't be happier for him. He just sent me a pic of himself with the giraffe. So,
Hey, true story. I also went to a zoo this weekend down near Colorado Springs. It's called the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. It's literally on the side of a mountain. It's like really like a lot of vertical. You got to do a lot of climbing. It's weirdly designed, but really, really cool. And we must have hit it at the right time. It was a cool day, cloudy. So all the animals were out. I mean, how many times have you gone to a zoo and like all the
yeah,
animals are
sleeping.
sleeping or hiding or you never see them, right? No, everything was out. We got to pet giraffes. I mean, it was great, dude.
Really?
Oh
What?
yeah, this place has like a viewing deck, like 20 feet up in the air, where you stand, and the giraffes, like you're at head level with the giraffes, and they come up to you, and you could feed them lettuce, and they eat it right out of your hands. It's crazy.
Yeah. I need some zoo in my life. Animals are a blast. Animals are so fun. Uh,
For sure. But hey, this
yeah,
is the options trade of the week. People didn't to tune in here to hear about us talking about the zoo. As fun as
options are
that.
fun too. Options are
Options are
also
fun
fun.
too. Yeah, they attract a certain type of animal. See that segue? Well done. Okay, so we had our little analyst meeting this morning, right before JC left for the zoo, by the way. And, we were talking about what kind of trade we wanted to put on today. We had a few candidates, and there was a trade that you were pretty hot on in a genomics name called 10x Genomics. I mean, what a name, 10x Genomics, right? I mean, this should be a 10 bagger if we get into this, right?
That's why you wanted me to like limit my risk in this trade. I want a 10x and 10x. I want to tell that story 6 months from now.
All right. Well, why don't you pull up the chart of TGX? That's 10x Genomics, and let's talk about it.
TXG, TXG, right here. It's
TXG.
so why did this one really appeal to us? And then we'll talk about why we didn't do it. But like
Yeah.
first, let's just look at the stock, right? It checks all the boxes, everything that we're looking for. Here's the 200-day moving average that you can see. It's had plenty of time to flatten all year. Now curling higher beneath price. What a nice launch pad we've built here, right? You have the textbook bearish to bullish reversal pattern, and then like just this high and tight coil. Maybe not so high, but a tight coil right at the upper bounds. Momentum is in a bullish regime. We have a very clear line in the sand, at a shelf of former highs here, kind of marking our resistance level, denoting our, entry in this trade. Comes in right around 55. So we're already long the common. I'm long personally. For me, putting some call options on top of this one, just as the base is resolving higher, that tends to be a strategy that, has rewarded me a lot over the years, right? If you can actually, as soon as you get that base breakout, as soon as you get that resolution, then you put on an options trade, something short term, and you manage it, pretty tightly. You look for kind of like an automatic reaction and get out. That's what I was kind of looking for with TXG. You went and looked into, I think, the options themselves and saw that they're pretty expensive, though.
Yeah. So first of all, hold on a second. I'm making a trade here. Market's moving, man. I'm making a trade. Okay. So here's the thing. I do like this chart. I like it a lot. And all things being equal, this is the trade I would get into, and I still might get into it, Straza. I'm keeping it on my radar.
Sure.
What I did not like about it was that even though the implied volatility readings, if you read the charts, we don't have one here, unfortunately for you guys, but the implied volatility reading says that the volatility is very low in these options. But when I buy naked calls, right, I tend to like to buy the 25 strike delta or the
Yeah.
25 delta strike. That's where that's the pond I like to swim in. And
Yep.
man, the 25 delta strikes in this stock are so far away. I mean, I was looking at, let me pull it up here on my side. I was looking at the January options, which by the way, I'm looking at January right now because across the board with volatility being as cheap as it has been in so many places with VIX, making new lows, we're being, we're being not paid, but we're being offered great opportunities to position in longer term options because, historically speaking, they're cheap right now. So I was looking at January options, and man, the 25 delta for TXG is the 85 strike. And I don't know, the stock's trading in the 50s right now. 85 just seems so far away from for me. I'm sure we
Yeah.
can get there if we get a big move, but and they want like I'm looking at it right now. They want $3 approximately, 325 to buy those calls right now. The 85 strike. I don't know. It
I,
didn't sit right with me. So I proposed, well, why don't you buy a call spread, right? Why don't you buy like maybe the at the money calls and sell the 85 calls against it? You didn't like that. You didn't want to have your risk capped or your
so
profit capped.
yeah, because if it goes, it probably goes. I thought they were 150.
No, I'm looking at them right now. I'm looking at January. I may have misquoted you, and that's totally
Oh,
my bad. I might be
all
looking
right.
at them wrong when we were talking, but no, I'm looking at January 2024 calls right now. The 85 strike are, I mean, there's a wide bid asks, but you could probably get filled at about $3 right now. Expensive, man. Expensive.
Yeah. Listen, it's something I still might do. I haven't gotten into the trade yet. I haven't even looked at the options chains. But you
Yeah,
found enough.
look, I mean, I like this chart, and if we had no other charts to look at, I'd be like, all right, let's figure this out. Let's make something happen. But the reason why I was like, stress out, not so much because there's another chart I really like. I like a lot. Can we get into that, or do you have anything else you want to say
No,
about
you
TXG?
make a great point. We are going to get into it. I'm just going to say I would have pushed back more on something like 10x Genomics. We talked about all of these, bullish reversal criteria that it does check. One that I'm waiting for, this is TXG on a relative basis, right? So it looks like we're getting that upside resolution on absolute terms, which is shown here in the upper pane. I want to see this relative trend break out and break out decisively, and then I will have like the most conviction that I'll have about any of these bases in a name like this. But we're not there yet, right?
Yeah,
So there's
that's
other
fair.
charts we could look to that have already resolved higher, making new highs on a relative basis. You kind of found one of them, at least making new highs relative to its peers. This
This
is
chart I love a lot. And what this chart does not show, this chart's a little stale, unfortunately, but we are breaking out above that level. SBC or HSBC traded as high as 39 today. And guess what? Guess what? This is what really got me excited. I love the chart, first of all. I don't know if this is all-time highs. It's probably not.
no,
No.
no. This is a bank, Sean. This is a bank.
Right, right, right. So what I really loved about this is that when the stock was trading at 39 bucks today, the January 40 strike calls, that's only $1 away, Straza. I was able to buy them for $2. And to me, that felt like the steal of the century. Maybe somebody else knows something that I don't know, but
No, it,
$40 strike, I could only pay $2 for them. That's a trade I would do any day of the week. Love it.
so I'm looking at it right now relative to XLF. Look, you're not going to find many stocks at all, not even talking about just banks, but any financial stocks that are making new highs like this. In the case of HSBC, highest level since 2019. I mean, this is a monster base breakout. Getting a lot of questions over the past few weeks, now that regional banks look like they're done falling, right? Well, what banks should I buy? What banks should we be buying? What are the best banks? And really, my answer to everyone has been probably no banks, right? If you want to express a bullish thesis on the banks, buy the strongest names in financials, right? This is one of them. And, we're talking a lot about getting some rotation into some of the weaker groups like financials. If we do catch that rotation, why not be in a stock that's already making new highs, breaking out of like a textbook pattern like HSBC? And Sean, what really did it for me on this one, as nice as the chart is, you can see it here. There's everything is perfect about the chart, but it's really the premium. Like these are just so cheap. I don't understand. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we caught the market sleeping and people aren't paying attention. Who knows? But man, at that premium, it felt irresponsible not to buy those calls. And maybe Straza, it has to do with the fact that it's a bank, right? Now, HSBC swims in
Right.
a completely different pond than everything going on in the regional banks in the U.S., right? But the fact is, it's a bank, and investors, when they right now today, they hear bank, they hear Ooh, no thanks, no thanks. I'm not interested. So maybe that's playing in our favor here. I don't know.
You know what it is? You just said it. Type in CS and pull up the chart for CS right now.
Credit Suisse. Okay. Look, the thing's just dead sideways.
That's because it disappeared. So if your charting platform is still showing it to you, they're wrong. It's not there anymore. So
Well, no, it shows me trading. Oh, yeah, this shows me trading as of June 9th.
yeah, yeah, that's about right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're gone now, right? They are Deutsche Bank now. So we're in an environment where some of the largest banks outside of the US are literally disappearing, going away. And HSBC is one of those. If they happen to be one that's in a good position, then wow, there could be like a big bargain here. And that's probably what's going on. The stock has been re-rated. The options contracts have been re-rated in a way that is consistent with a banking crisis, which is where we've been since March now.
So in a lot of ways, how JP Morgan benefited in the US from, deposit flight. People were trying to find a bank where they could put their money, and JP Morgan just kind of won that, by process of elimination. HSBC on an international basis is kind of benefiting from those same tailwinds. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. UBS, Deutsche Bank. And I'm sorry, I said they're Deutsche Bank. They're not. They're UBS, right? UBS took over Credit Suisse. But the best banks around the world actually have something to gain in this environment where everybody's worried about if their money's okay at their bank, right? Because they're going to flock to the best banks, JP Morgan, HSBC. We don't need to like sit back and act like banking analysts and try to like, analyze a bank's balance sheet. You can look at a stock chart like at HSBC and be confident that you're probably okay here, right? Because we could show you 100 other banks that are in nasty downtrends, close to new lows, right? That are being priced for what's going on. HSBC, it seems like the market is telling us will be more than okay through this.
Yeah, HSBC does not look like your typical bank chart right now, which is another reason why we like it. It's just, people are afraid of banks, and so this one's going to sneak up on people, and I think that's being reflected in the options premiums, right? We got 6 months for this thing to break above 40. Really, I mean, if you want to get technical, all it needs to do is be above $42, and we're definitely swimming in profits in this trade. And we've got 6 months for it to do that. It does not seem like a stretch, especially with this chart and with this setup. But let's be mindful of our risks. I do have a stop loss level that I'm gonna key off of. So it's trading around 39 right now, maybe 38 and change. 38 is my stop loss level. I got a really tight stop because you kind of see it on that chart there. I think that last red candle, the low of that is right around 38, I believe. And, if we're below that, then it's, maybe we take a step back and reevaluate and wait for a better setup. But I'll still be keeping an eye on this one. But any close below 38, Straza, and I'm out, at least for now.
So even though, the premium was so low, not paying much for this, you don't want to let it dance.
You know what? I apologize. I just misspoke, and I pulled up my chart here about HSBC that I could zoom in a little bit more. I apologize. 36 is the level I'm looking at as my stop loss level, not 38.
Okay.
As I was saying, I was thinking to myself, that seems a little tight. It's even tight for me. Yeah, 36, I'm sorry, is the level that I'm watching. That gives us a lot more room to dance without, I feel like as long as we're above 36, the trend is still there. Nothing crazy's happening. And we'll hold it. And like I said, we didn't pay a whole lot, so don't have a whole lot of risk in the trade.
This to me is one of those setups where it feels too good to be true. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, wow, either the market's really messing up and mispricing this thing, and this is going to be a home run, or what the hell are we missing? What don't we know? Why are these things so cheap? This one's either going to work really well or not work at all, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and you're probably right, and that's fine. We're not paying a whole lot to play, and we got nothing but upside if we get it right. So I like it. Feels like a great shot. Feels like a great opportunity. It's in a sector that's hated, and when people start disappearing their hate, so to speak, when everyone stops being afraid of banks, they're gonna start pulling up this chart and being like, "Whoa, we've been sleeping on this one. It's time to get in," and I think we'll benefit from that. That's my take.
It looks really good. I just went through like all the other European financials, whether it's NatWest, UBS, Lloyd's of London. Yeah, I mean, HSBC is really in a league of their own right now. Even the Canadian banks. You know what? The Indian banks would be the only ones that you could put up against a chart like this right now. And even them, like,
I'm not familiar. Are there any Indian banks that are traded in the U.S.?
like ICI, yeah. So that's IBN. It's ICICI Bank. That's an Indian bank.
Right.
So outside of India, you're not going to find a bank like this. So exciting stuff.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. We've kept people hostage long enough here. This has been the options trade of the week. We like HSBC. We bought January options in the 40 strike. We paid $2 for them. Our stop is at 36. Let's go, baby. Straza, thanks for pitching in for JC, who's off hugging tigers right now, trying to win Dad of the Year award.
He's doing all right. And we'll keep you posted on TXG. And do you want to give a quick update on what you did with Shopify before we go or no?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So Shopify, for anyone who hung out with Steve and I yesterday in the Flow show, we did a short-term options trade in Shopify. Not something we normally do. We were kind
Not at all.
Yeah, we were playing around, but we liked the setup. And we talked during the video yesterday. We talked about buying the 66 strike calls that expire at the end of this week. You know, we didn't commit to it. We just said we're keeping an eye on it. Well, I ended up buying, and then you also ended up buying. We ended up buying the 65 strike calls yesterday, or was it 2 days ago? I'm forgetting where we were. It was 2 days. It was on Monday we were talking. It was
Really?
Monday, Straza.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep.
So we put the trade on. We paid, or at least I paid $1.90 or $1.95 for the calls. And our stop was 64.50 on the stock, right? Well, it traded below 64.50 intraday yesterday. I closed it out. I took the L. I lost like 20 cents or 30 cents on the trade, something like that. Well, the stock kind of recovered after yesterday's little mini swoon. And I looked at it again today and I was like, whoa, I really like the way this thing's held in there. It came back. And I was able to buy those same strike calls, the 65 strike calls. I was able to buy them back today for about a nickel less than I sold them for yesterday. So I was like, all right, let's get back in. The setup still looks valid. So we are back in, or at least I am back in. You stayed the whole time.
I'm in.
Kudos to you. But we are both in now, and I mean, it's holding up, and it feels like it really wants to go. We'll see. We got 2 days left.
I think it's just a good trader's lesson, right? You got out, you protected yourself, and you came back the next day, looked at the new information that we had, and said, nothing wrong with re-entering.
That's right. Sorry we didn't have a chart for you guys. Straza threw a curveball at me for that. All right, folks, this has been the Options Trade of the Week. He's Steve Straza. I'm Sean McLaughlin. Options Sean on Twitter, Straza on Twitter. Follow us, talk to us, ask us questions. We're here to help. Have a great rest of your post-Fed trading week. We'll talk to you again soon. Or we'll see you on the morning show tomorrow.
8:30.
Right on. Take care, everybody.